welcome back. So today I wanted to share with you guys a special story of mine that I've been wanting to talk about for so long. It's actually been 2 years since I've had this experience, and I think that I am finally processed it fully and fully understand what I got from it for me to be able to sit here and explain to you guys what it is. First and foremost, I just wanted to give a non-disclosure, just stating how I'm not trying to convince anyone to do any of these things. I am just sharing with you guys my story and my experience, and I hope that you guys enjoy it. These type of medicines should never be administered or should be taken by yourself or with your friends. This is something very sacred, very serious. You should definitely find someone who specializes in these medicines and has been doing it for a very long time. Like I said, I have a lot of friends that were involved in this type of like plant medicine and healing medicines in the community that I am in. Therefore, I was guided towards the right people. So please make sure that you are being guided toward the right people if you are interested in these things, and don't ever take it upon yourself to administer it to yourself or find it online. That's not safe. I'm doing this mostly coming from educational purposes because I believe that this is something that impacted my life so deeply that I've been wanting to share it, and I do share it with people that come close to me. But I think that we need a little bit more awareness and education on these types of subjects. So there you go. I'm not sure if many of you have heard about the toad medicine. And this toad medicine is another form of DMT. It is the 5-MeO DMT. And for those of you who don't know what DMT is, let me go ahead and explain that to you. DMT is dimethyltryptamine, which is a chemical in our brain that makes us dream. And this chemical is released twice in our lives, when we are born and when we die. Dimethyltryptamine is also in everything that is living. So it's not just in our brains, it's in grass, it's in living animals. So 5-MeO DMT, the Bufo alvarez, is a specific toad that is found in the deserts. And this toad has been used for many years in shamanic healing. So I wanted to give my experience on joining a ceremony which healed me from a lot of past traumas. So aside from the Bufo alvarez, before I even knew what Bufo was, I definitely was doing my research on different types of plant medicines. Basically because I came to a point where I definitely wanted to do the inner work, and I wanted to be able to heal from these traumas that I've had attached to me since childhood. And I had been doing research on different medicines and which ones worked for different types of traumas, and ayahuasca came to be one of the most healing medicines. Ayahuasca is a DMT tea that is made in the Amazon, most specifically in Peru. People go and do ayahuasca retreats all over the world to Peru to do a kind of detox to your body. There's a lot of purging that happens when you intake ayahuasca. There's a lot of shadow work that happens when you do this medicine, and specifically people do it not only for the mental healing and the spiritual healing that it gives, but for the physical healing as well. I definitely advise anybody who wants to learn more about these kinds of medicines to do your research. I researched all of this stuff so much before I actually got into it, and really look into to see what intention you have and what intention it is that you want to bring forward with these medicines, because anything that you put intention to, you definitely will receive. And that's what I learned with my journey with these medicines, is that, you know, the intention that I had with my specific journey was exactly what I got out of it. Even 2 years later, there's so many things that come up from that experience that give me lessons on lessons and bring me further and further deeper into the 5-dimensional world. I was looking into ayahuasca, I definitely had a huge part of me that was super interested in it due to the fact that I wanted to get more in tune with my spirit, and I wanted to have that purging, that physical healing that it brought, and I wanted to take my shadow work full force. And as I read deeper and deeper into ayahuasca, I was trying to, find out more information on how I could come about one of these ceremonies. I'm lucky to have a lot of friends that have taught me a lot about these plant medicines and have been very available to me for any questions. I'm lucky enough to definitely have friends that guided me into the right direction with these medicines. Basically, after having a very deep talk with a very close friend of mine, telling her my intentions and telling her what I had experienced in my childhood that I wanted to let go of, and really digging deep down to what it was that I wanted to overcome and how I wanted to overcome it, what it was holding on for me in this realm, what it was doing to me even in my subconscious forms. After having this conversation, this person had given me the knowledge of letting me know their experience. After hearing their experience, I was like, whoa, like I didn't really know that there was anything other than ayahuasca that could go deeper. They say that 5-MeO, it's 2 molecules away from regular DMT, and it also gives you a out-of-body experience, but the time frame is a lot longer. The time frame for regular DMT is from 10 to like 15 minutes that you have this out-of-body experience, and the time frame of 5-MeO is from 20 to 45 minutes. The way that they explained to me the difference of ayahuasca and the 5-MeO was that, with ayahuasca, it is a journey on itself, and it is a process. Ayahuasca, you are doing a dieta, which they put you on a specific diet because you're going to do a lot of purging during the ceremony, which detoxes your body from everything emotionally, internally, that you've withheld. And with 5-MeO, there is a possibility of purging, but it's not as high. Also, with ayahuasca, you're sitting down and you're drinking a tea actively for many, many rotations until you are finally at a state of out-of-body state. And with Bufo, it's mainly just one session. One of the reasons that I decided to do 5-MeO instead of ayahuasca was because I was told that doing one session of 5-MeO can equal up to 3 sessions of ayahuasca. So shortly after learning about Bufo, like everything, it manifests itself. I was given the opportunity to join a ceremony. Like I said, when you put it out there, it definitely comes to you. Once being asked to be a part of this ceremony, I didn't think about it twice. I was super excited to be able to be a part of a sacred space and time with these people that are letting me be a part of their ceremony, because they already had their people picked out and one of them wasn't able to make it, so I was able to take their spot, which I think is still insane because it all just happened so quickly and it was so lined up for me to do this. And the ceremony was definitely something very interesting for me because it was held in a very sacred space. I was the youngest out of 5 people that were partaking in this ceremony, and it was super interesting to me because 3 of the people were around my parents' age, and I was just like so in awe about understanding they're active adults that are taking the initiative into getting healed in different ways other than westernized medicine. And one of the people that I was doing the ceremony with, he was a professor at Michigan State University, which I thought was very interesting because he has been practicing 5-MeO for years, and he was telling me how impactful it is in his life, how much it's healed him from different medical conditions that he's had throughout the years. And just hearing these things and being in a circle, closed circle with complete strangers where you're learning things from each other and you're really like taking it in. I mean, me personally, like since I was the youngest one, I mean, I definitely had a ego hovering over me during this whole time. Just like, what are you doing here? What are you about to do? I was scared, excited, nervous. I had no idea what to expect. They definitely gave us an orientation before the actual ceremony where they explained the toad itself fully, so everybody felt a little bit comfortable. And every single one of us there's 5 of us counting me, besides the shaman who was providing the medicine for us. Every single person there had a very deep-rooted trauma type of issue that they were trying to overcome. And every person there, I'm pretty sure all of us got exactly what we came there for. So that's insane to me as well. I definitely rose my hand. I wanted to go first because of the fearless little Sagittarius I am. And I really don't know why I wanted to go first. And that's, sometimes I'm still like, wow, I kind of like, it was like my higher self or something else that wasn't me that was volunteering me to go first. But it was for a reason, for sure, because I definitely would have freaked out if I would have gone after the woman that went after me. Yeah, so your body kind of just does whatever it needs to do in those moments. And those moments are very like important because it's a purge. So it kind of like how in ayahuasca, where you purge out all of this negativity and these demons and this trauma. They tell us kind of what to eat the night before as well. Like, you're not supposed to eat heavy foods, meat, all that kind of stuff is not good, because when you're in ceremony, you can definitely have a bad stomach reaction and it just wouldn't be good. After intaking the medicine, it's beautiful. It was beautiful because like I'm in this room full of people that are all holding space while each one of us goes one by one. And we're all holding space for each other in meditation of love, giving off as much love to the person who is going through the journey and sending them as many great vibrations as we could at that time. So since I went first, really they explained to us too how much of a battle this was going to be with our ego. And this was the first time, I've had a couple of like ego death realizations with other experiences before, but this was the first time that I had a vivid memory of what ego death was and having the detachment of the ego. We say that, like I said earlier, the regular DMT is the spirit molecule. They call 5-MeO the God molecule, the source molecule. And what that was for me was the complete understanding that we are so much more than our earth body, our physical body, because I had that moment of realization that I am not a human right now. I'm just pure consciousness. And that realization was probably one of the scariest moments of my entire life, but one of the best moments in my entire life, like all at once. So there's just this rush of downloading a sense of memory. Like, I already knew this before, but now it's more like I'm remembering that this is what I actually am, pure consciousness. As I'm experiencing this realization, it's like my ego, which is Camilla, who I am, is picking at me during having all of these realizations. So I have my ego floating with me through this time and space where there's oblivion, telling me like, you're taking too long, come back. And I'm freaking out thinking, oh yeah, like, am I taking too long? But there's no time. Time isn't real where I'm at. So it was really a battle with my ego of trying to not let go and surrender to what I was experiencing. Once I finally surrendered, and it was the hardest thing ever to let go of your ego fully. And I think all of these lessons and everything I experienced during this experience and this trip and this journey was so much of what I've needed to put into my regular life and my daily life. And the things that I need to remember on a daily basis is that we just need to surrender so much to our ego, and we hold on so much to our ego. We think that our ego is everything, but it's literally not. And once I finally let go of fully of my ego, of who I was, there was so much love that was initiated, and it was like a burst of the feeling of love, but beyond that, in words that I can't even fully explain. And this huge, like, the vision that I had was me floating, well, not even me, because I wasn't a figure, I wasn't anything. There was nothing that could identify me as myself. It was just, I was being. And the word being, I've never understood it more than that day, because the word being is the essence of what meditation and meditation practice takes you to. And ever since that experience, every time I've meditated, that's the point that I've been trying to get since, is the point of just being. And it's definitely been a lot easier to reach that since experiencing this, because I've been there now. Therefore, I can get there in easier ways. I understood that we are eternal beings, and that time was 100% irrelevant. I had this rush of understanding and going back into who my parents were, feeling as though I was them, understanding that I was and am every part of my family and, you know, my lineage, and I have forever been and I will forever be. It was understanding all of that at once. If I wanted to go further back in time or further forward, I could, and it was so overwhelming that, like, I get chills even just talking about it right now, because I still can't believe that I experienced the feeling of oneness at its highest peak. Once experiencing this, it was like I was literally born again. It was like a click, and all of this was so foggy to me coming out of this. Like, I was gone for about 40 minutes just having the Buddhist experience, which I wasn't really moving much. And you know, when I finally started waking up, it was like taking a breath of fresh air for the first time ever, feeling how it feels to breathe for the first time ever, feeling like I literally came out of a womb, because so much appreciation and love, and just appreciation for life, appreciation for everything that was in my life and how I even got to be a part of this. It was the most intense form of appreciation and love, the highest state that I've ever been in. They had a beautiful wooden table full of all of these types of fruits and vegetables, and we got to pick out what we wanted to eat for the first time since coming back. And it was literally like I was gone from Earth and came back and had this first piece of strawberry, and it felt like the first time I ever ate a strawberry, ate anything at all. It was like my senses were heightened in the highest ways possible, and it's still so mind-blowing to me how this feeling comes from a toad that is, you know, amphibians are one of the oldest type of animals in the world. They're the most ancient type of animals in the world, and why haven't we gone deeper in science as to understanding and really dissecting as why we have these connections with the earth, because the earth and animals, because this is something that comes from God, literally, or source, whatever you want to call it, the universe. So the reason that they call 5-MeO the God molecule is because everyone has a very similar experience. So the core of the experience is supposed to take you to source, and that's literally what I got from it. The experience that I had was kind of explaining to me what my own version of God's source was. And the message that I got, which I had to meditate on for a while, because, you know, I came back home and I was trying to understand, like, what does this mean? What does this mean? I had parts of my vision come to me in dreams after my ceremony, because it was so intense that I couldn't just like put it all together right after. I had to literally try and understand days. I mean, it's been 2 years and I'm still so profoundly affected by this experience. We are a piece, just like the orb that exploded. We are a piece of source, and that piece of source is an expression of it. And the whole orb can't be made up without the tiny pieces of it. And just like God, just like source, we are an expression of the universe. We are an expression of everything that creates the whole. So without us, there is nothing. So if we are a part of God, source, the universe, it wouldn't be completed without us. Therefore, our only job here on earth is to love, to be loved, and to give love. And that was my lesson, was that everything else that we are so worried about, everything else that we hold on to, the negativity, the trauma, all we need to know is how to love ourselves, how to love others, and how to spread that as much as possible. And that's our job as an expression of the biggest source of love. I've definitely became more passionate about plant medicines and how all of these things are helping us as a humanity, because, you know, we have here proven cases of ayahuasca curing different types of cancers, curing different types of diseases that medicine hasn't been able to do fast enough. So you here have these plants, you have these animals that are giving off these healing properties, and we're not using the science to understand them better, but instead we're using science to build all of these over-the-counter medicines and pills and drugs to get people hooked on. So I'm definitely passionate about learning everything that has to do with plant medicine and everything that has to do with holistic healings. And I want to make more videos educating you guys more on different types of plant medicines and different types of healings, so that I could bring more awareness and education to that, because I think that we definitely need it. I hope that, you know, if you have any questions, definitely leave any questions that you have. I hope that you guys learned something new today, or at least had fun watching and hearing me talk about this, because this is definitely one of the coolest things I can like explain or like talk about, because it's still like so mind-boggling crazy to me. But thank you guys for watching, and see you next video.